Las Vegas, Nevada is home to one of the busiest airports in the United States, McCarran International Airport. Named after former Nevada Senator Pat McCarran, the airport has been a major transportation hub for the city since its establishment in 1948. In recent years, there has been some controversy surrounding the airport's name and whether or not it is considered racist or offensive. While some have called for the airport to be renamed, others argue that the name should remain unchanged. One key figure in this debate is former U.S. Senator Harry Reid, who represented Nevada for over 3 decades and was instrumental in securing federal funding for the airport's expansion. In today's video, we will be showing you why Las Vegas' Harry Reid didn't change the name of airports racist. Without further ado, let's begin. To understand the controversy surrounding the name of McCarran International Airport, it is important to first examine the legacy of Pat McCarran. Born in 1876, McCarran was a prominent politician in Nevada and served as a U.S. Senator from 1933 until his death in 1954. While he is credited with playing a key role in shaping the state's modern infrastructure and economy, including the establishment of McCarran International Airport, his record on civil rights and immigration has been criticized in recent years. Specifically, McCarran was known for his staunch anti-immigrant and anti-communist views. He was a key sponsor of the McCarran-Walter Act of 1952, which established strict quotas for immigration based on national origin and restricted the entry of suspected subversives. Additionally, he was a vocal opponent of civil rights legislation, including the Civil Rights Act of 1957 and the Civil Rights Act of 1960. Given McCarran's controversial record on civil rights and immigration, some have argued that the airport's name should be changed to something less offensive. In recent years, there have been several efforts to rename the airport, including a proposal by the Clark County Commission in 2017 to change the name to Vegas Golden Knights International Airport in honor of the city's professional hockey team. However, these efforts have been met with resistance from some members of the community, who argue that the airport's name should remain unchanged as a tribute to McCarran's contributions to the state. One key figure in this debate is former U.S. Senator Harry Reid, who represented Nevada from 1987 until 2017. Reid, who was a member of the Democratic Party and served as Senate Majority Leader from 2007 until 2015, played a key role in securing federal funding for the expansion and modernization of McCarran International Airport during his tenure in office. Despite his progressive views on civil rights and immigration, Reid has been hesitant to support efforts to change the name of the airport. In a 2017 interview with the Las Vegas Review-Journal, Reid stated that he did not believe the airport's name was racist and that it should remain unchanged. He argued that while McCarran's record on civil rights and immigration was problematic, it should not overshadow his contributions to the state. Reid's position on the airport's name has been met with criticism from some members of the community, who argue that the airport's name is a reminder of Nevada's troubled history with civil rights and immigration. They argue that renaming the airport would be a step towards acknowledging and addressing these issues, and would send a message of inclusivity and respect to visitors and residents alike. Despite the ongoing debate over the name of McCarran International Airport, it remains one of the busiest airports in the United States and a major economic driver for the city of Las Vegas. The airport serves millions of passengers each year and is a key transportation hub for both domestic and international travel. It is important to note that this debate is not unique to Las Vegas or to the United States. Many countries around the world are grappling with similar issues as they confront the legacies of colonialism, imperialism, and other forms of systemic oppression. For example, in South Africa, there have been efforts to rename airports, highways, and other public spaces that are named after figures associated with apartheid. Similarly, in Australia, there have been calls to rename public spaces that honor figures associated with the country's colonial history. The decision to rename a public space is not always an easy one, as it often involves balancing competing values and priorities. On one hand, there is a desire to recognize the contributions of individuals who have made significant contributions to their communities or countries. On the other hand, there is a recognition that some of these individuals may have been complicit in or directly responsible for actions that have caused harm to certain groups of people. In the case of McCarran International Airport, there are valid arguments on both sides of the debate. On the one hand, Pat McCarran was a well-respected and influential figure in Nevada politics who played an important role in the development of the state's infrastructure and economy. On the other hand, his record on civil rights and immigration is deeply troubling, and his legacy is stained by his association with the Red Scare and other forms of political repression. Ultimately, the decision about whether or not to rename McCarran International Airport will likely depend on a number of factors, including the political climate, public opinion, and the willingness of those in power to take action. In recent years, there has been growing momentum behind efforts to remove the names of problematic figures from public spaces, as people around the world become more aware of the need to confront systemic oppression and work towards a more just and equitable society. Whether or not this momentum will be enough to change the name of McCarran International Airport remains to be seen, but it is clear that this debate will continue to be an important one for many years to come. The debate over the name of McCarran International Airport highlights the complex and often fraught nature of efforts to rename public spaces that honor problematic figures from history. While some argue that Pat McCarran's contributions to Nevada and the United States should be recognized and celebrated, others argue that his legacy is tainted by his record on civil rights and immigration. Ultimately, the decision about whether or not to rename the airport will depend on a number of factors, including public opinion, political will, and the values of those in power. Regardless of the outcome of this particular debate, it is clear that the issue of renaming public spaces that honor problematic figures will continue to be an important one for many years to come. As societies around the world grapple with the legacies of colonialism, imperialism, and other forms of systemic oppression, it is important to recognize the harm that has been caused and to work towards a more just and equitable future. The controversy surrounding the name of McCarran International Airport is a reflection of the ongoing debate over how to address the legacy of figures with problematic records on civil rights and immigration. While some argue that these figures should be honored for their contributions to the state, others argue that their legacies should be scrutinized and their names removed from public spaces. The debate over the name of McCarran International Airport is just one example of this larger issue, which has been playing out across the United States in recent years. As the United States continues to grapple with issues of race, immigration, and civil rights, it is likely that the debate over the name of McCarran International Airport will continue. While some argue that the name should be changed to reflect the values of inclusivity and respect, others argue that it should remain unchanged as a tribute to Pat McCarran's contributions to the state. Ultimately, the decision about whether or not to rename the airport will likely depend on the perspectives and values of those who have the power to make that decision. So guys, let me know your thoughts in the comments section below. For more interesting content, give this video a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more awesome content. Have a nice day, and I will see you in the next video.